right, the stars are right, and it's time for another episode of The Whisper in Darkness. This time we are doing some streaming this evening. Going to play some games with Marie Lambeau. We will take a look at the deck that we are going to be playing with this evening. She is the entertainer, of course, and she has that unique ability of hers that as long as a Doom is in play on cards you control, you can take an additional action to play a spell card or use a spell ability. Here is the deck that I am going to be playing with this evening. I've been on a bit of a Mystic kick lately, been playing a lot of Diana and Marie and quite enjoying them. This deck is something I've been working on for a little while now. It has the Hawkeye Folding Camera and St. Hubert's Key to boost our base willpower and intellect. Of course, if we can get both of those cards down, we can get up to 6/6 in willpower and intellect, which is awesome. We've got Shriveling, Withering, and a couple copies of Storm of Spirits in this deck for enemy management. I've included two copies of Storm and Spirits in this deck just for the Return to the Gathering scenario. Return to the Gathering tends to have a lot of enemies, and you need some way to deal with multiple enemies. I find that Storm of Spirits it can be quite expensive at 3 resources, but if you can land it at an opportune time, it can really make your life a lot easier if you do end up with a lot of ghouls on your location. We've got Arcane Initiate and David Renfield to find our spells and generate resources respectively. Arcane Initiate is great if we don't happen to draw our Shriveling and or Withering early enough, and we need to get those down pretty early on during a scenario because the ghouls do come out, and we don't want to evade too many of them because we end up having to deal with them at the end of the scenario anyway, once they start moving towards the parlor. We've got, and of course David Renfield is amazing for his resource generation. If we've got our spells out, we can easily generate a ton of resources with him, which makes the deck flow a lot smoother. However, we can't just rely on David alone, so we do have a copy of Emergency Cash in there just in case, as well as Uncage the Soul. I'm a bit on the fence as far as Uncage the Soul is concerned in this deck, while I do like the fact that it has the 2 willpower skill icons as well as the discount on the spell. It doesn't play very nicely with Marie's special ability because it is not a spell itself. So even though you get that free action with Marie to play a spell, such as a Shriveling, you can't use the Uncage the Soul to do it. So it's kind of annoying that way. We've got Deny Existence and Word of Protection in there. I tried to play this deck without Ward in it, and it just wasn't working very well, especially once you hit Return to the Midnight Masks and you have to deal with the Hunting Shadow. That can really put a damper on Marie's very low health pool at 6 if you're taking 2 damage unexpectedly. We've got 1 copy of Moonlight Ritual. I rarely use that card. I find I'm able to manage Doom just fine, but sometimes you do end up in a situation where you need to remove Doom, and this is the only way in the game there is to do it. Deny Existence, of course, is fantastic. Provides a way to cancel damage. That's usually how it ends up getting used with Marie, just to prevent that damage from stacking up on her. Although if you do get hit she's got so much sanity that getting hit for a horror isn't that bad. It tends to be used largely just for damage. We've got Deduction in there in case we need to grab a couple of clues. This card doesn't really come into play very much in the Return to the Gathering because I think all of the locations only have 1 clue on them per investigator, so playing Deduction isn't going to help you all that much. We've got the Guts in there, of course, for the willpower boost, and I'm experimenting with Prophecy tonight in this deck. I haven't had it in the deck before. I initially had Perception, but I think the Prophecy probably will be better late game once we've got all the clues. And if there's enough Doom in play, we might be able to get 3 wild icons out of it, which is pretty awesome. And of course, Unexpected Courage again for the wild icons. Marie's signature weakness is, of course, Baron Samedi. He takes up an ally slot, which we can't really deal with in the Return to the Gathering. He will knock out our ally. There's nothing we can do about that. Best case, we can just try to get rid of him as quickly as possible. You can add enough Doom to him to get rid of him in a couple of turns, but of course he will knock out your ally. And when we do play Return to the Midnight Masks, we'll be adding in a Charisma just to give us that second ally slot, so the Baron isn't quite as punishing. And Marie's signature, her signature event is Mystifying Song, which lets you delay the advancement of the agenda deck by a turn. I believe it has 2 wild icons, which are amazing, but maybe once I've played it for its actual ability. Most of the time, it just ends up being skill test fodder. Yeah, the welcome Big Stupid Grin and Eric. I've played these scenarios a couple of times. A lot lately. And I actually find Return to the Gathering to be quite a lot of fun. We are set up and ready to go in Octagon here, so we'll switch over. I do find Return to the Gathering to be quite a lot of fun. I have not actually beaten this with Marie cleanly. I always seem to get to the end with the Ghoul Priest, and then for whatever reason I end up drawing, like I'm one shot away from taking down the Ghoul Priest, and for whatever reason I seem to pull a tentacle or some hijinks happens, and I end up dying to his Retaliate. I don't know what's going on there, but I haven't been able to take him down in this scenario. It's not that bad, actually, if you don't complete this scenario. I mean, you will take a mental or physical trauma, and the Ghoul Priest will show up later, but you do still get the 2 experience points if you happen to blow it, which there are quite a few experience points available depending on how many ghouls you happen to draw as you're going through the encounter deck. As for Return to the Midnight Masks, that is a real bear for Marie. The Doom threshold on the agendas in that particular scenario are very, very short, so adding a Doom just hastens your demise, and of course a lot of the cards, a lot of the cultists are adding Doom in play as well, so you can suddenly find yourself with very little time to discover the cultists in the city. It's also bad news for Marie because of Hunting Shadow. You have to be very careful when you spend those clues to pull out the cultists, because if you end up with no clues and you don't have a ward of protection, you will take the 2 damage, and that damage adds up quickly, especially if you happen to be defeated during Return to the Gathering and you've already got that mental trauma. It's also bad news if Marie needed any more bad news. It's the locked door is in that scenario, and it requires a combat to knock down, which we do not have a lot of combat, or an agility skill test. Now we've got 3, but this deck does not pack a lot of agility skill icons, so if we end up getting behind a locked door, we are pretty much hooped for that particular location. I find it doesn't tend to end up being that bad in the end. Like, you're going to end up getting locked behind. Something will end up getting locked, but generally speaking, there are enough clues on the table that you can grab somewhere else and continue. I think the best I've done is I've managed to get 3 of the cultists before I've run out of time. I just want to pop back to the deck for a second. There is one card in here that I am experimenting with, and that is Trenchcoat. I'm really on the fence about it. It's quite expensive, but it does have that the 2 health, and it does give you that extra agility skill icon if you are evading. So we've already got 3 with Marie's base skill value, and so if we can get that extra one, that gives us 4. Most of the time, that's actually pretty good. I found you're able to get away from most enemies with that 3 agility. So maybe the trench coat will work out. Maybe it'll just get cut. I haven't. This is the first time I've actually going to play with it, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Welcome, John, and everyone else for joining me this evening. We are. I think we're ready to go. I haven't drawn a weakness, so let's do that now and see how we're going to do. Our weakness for this game is going to be Doomed. Okay, well, this is a bit of a... unless we... this is the campaign mode only one. I'm going to redraw. I'm probably going to use different weaknesses in each game, so we're not going to use that one. That's very campaign specific. Okay, we've got Chronophobia. Put Chronophobia into play in your threat area at the end of your turn. Take 1 direct horror. Discard Chronophobia with 2 actions. That's not too bad. We've got a lot of sanity, so if we do get stuck with Chronophobia and we have to take a couple of actions, or we have to take a couple of horror while we get rid of that Chronophobia, we should be in good shape. Just a quick summary of this scenario for those of you who may not have played the Return to the Gathering. The study is slightly different. It's the Aberrant Gateway. It's a 3-shroud location with 1 clue per investigator, and you may take a double action to draw 3 cards. Only the lead investigator can activate this ability. And the big difference here is the forced effect. When an enemy attempts to spawn at a location that is not in play, put that location into play and spawn that enemy there. Now, in the typical Gathering scenario, that text is not there, so if you spawn the Icy Ghoul or the Flesh Eater, they simply get discarded if the attic and the cellar are not on the table. That's not the case in this one. They will end up in play and you will have to deal with them, so hopefully you've got the spells to do it. You also end up in the guest hall, and there's 2 new locations, the bedroom and the bathroom, and then there are a couple of more new locations. You can get different variations of the attic and cellar, which could lead you far above your house or far below your house. Basically, all this adds up to is that when you usually, if I play the regular Gathering, I can usually have it beat by Agenda 2A without too much trouble. The changes to this scenario really add a lot of time, so you usually do end up in Agenda 3, where all the ghouls start moving around and it becomes a lot more, a much more tense game, I think, and I think a lot more enjoyable. It's not, it's definitely not the cakewalk it is if you're playing it without the return without the return 2 cards. And if you have played the Gathering and you're looking to upgrade your core set, I would highly recommend getting that the Return to the Night of the Zealot box for this scenario, as well as the Midnight Masks. I think it's nice that they sort of up the difficulty of the Gathering, because I find I think a lot of players, they pick up the core set, they play the Gathering, and it's not that difficult, and then they hit Midnight Masks and they struggle because it requires you to move a lot more quickly than the Gathering does. The Gathering, you can really mosey along and not there's no fire under your ass, but in this one there definitely is, and that helps you, I think, when you move to the Midnight Masks, and time is really of the essence. So I'm set up here and we're ready to go, so let's get this game underway. We're going to draw our opening hand and see how we do. We're going to be looking for a Shriveling or a Withering or something like that, as well as our as well as our Hawkeye folding camera and St. Hubert's Key. So we've got David and a Withering and an Uncage the Soul and a Mystifying Song and a Deny Existence. That is a pretty nice hand, nice opening hand. We can certainly, I mean, David Renfield first turn is going to be very powerful. We only have 3, the Doom Threshold is only 3 on this particular, so maybe what we do is we play our Withering with the Uncage the Soul, and then we bring out David once we've flipped to the next. I don't think we need Mystifying Song right, well, we could delay. I don't think we need it right now. We haven't seen our Hawkeye folding camera, or so we're going to need to be a little more aggressive here with our I don't know, do I keep the Uncage the Soul? I don't if the Doom Threshold wasn't so low on this one. No, we'll just use David to power us through, I think. So we're going to draw 3 cards. There's Storm of Spirits. Okay, not Arcane Initiate. Okay. And Guts. So we've got a couple allies. We can only play with 1. We do have one of our key spells in Withering, so we will we'll work with that for now. All right, we are set up and ready to go. Let's get our actions here. We've got 3 actions. First action, we can get... this actually works very nicely to have David Renfield out, because as our first action, we can pay 2 to bring David out. And then David has his free trigger, so we can add a Doom to him. We get a resource back. And we also get an action back, because now we can play our Withering, because it's a spell using Marie's free action to play that spell or activate spell abilities. So we can do that as our next action, and we still have 2 actions left, which is pretty sweet. So a nice start here, and our willpower goes up to 5 already. So we're 5, should be 5, 4, 1, 3. There we go. All right, so far so good. We are going to take our second action to investigate. We will go 4 versus 3. Not great odds, but the Chaos Bag isn't too bad in this particular one. We do get a -1, so that'll be enough to grab us this clue. Okay, we've got 1 action left. We might as well just keep on moving, so we'll move here to the Guest Hall. Guest Hall is a 1-shroud location with 0 clues, and investigators in this location cannot take draw actions. So we can't draw cards while we're here. That is fine. We are not planning to draw any at this time with draw actions. Move on to the enemy phase, nothing to do. Upkeep. We draw our Mystifying Song anyway. Did I shuffle this deck? I don't know if I did or not. That seems a little... I'm going to shuffle our deck here just to make sure I'm not... don't think I shuffled when I put the cards back, so that would explain that. Alright, let's see. Okay, we got a Word of Protection instead. We do get our 3 actions back technically during this turn. And we'll move on to our first Mythos phase. We've got 2 Doom out of 3. So David's helping us, but he is also making the game move a lot quicker. So we'll draw our first encounter card. There is our first ghoul, the Corpse Hungry Ghoul. He's got 4 fight, 3 health, 3 evade, humanoid monster ghoul. He spawns in the bedroom. So he spawns up here. He's a hunter, and he is worth a victory point. And he does hit hard. He hits for 2 health and 2 sanity. Fortunately, because we have a Doom in play, that Withering, we can use it. We can move into the bedroom and hit this Corpse Hungry Ghoul 3 times and still have enough to work with. So let's, we are in the witching hour because there are 2 doom out of 3 and we are going to advance anyway. So our first thing we'll do is we will trigger David to add another doom. That's not going to hurt us at all, and we will gain 2 resources. So that's pretty sweet. We are going to get 4 actions this turn due to Marie's ability, so we will use one of them to move up and engage this ghoul. And then we will try to deal with him this turn. The bedroom is a 2-shroud location with 1 clue. It has the forced ability. After you fail a skill test while investigating the bedroom, discard 1 card at random from your hand. That is of course the sort of tweak they made to this scenario. They added all of the cards, the discard cards from your hand to make it a little bit trickier. We do have 3 actions because of Marie's special ability, so we are going to try to kill this ghoul. He has 4 fight. He's pretty beefy, but we do have a couple of icons we can pitch. Hopefully if we draw a special, we can pull a special token and make him a little easier to kill with our Wither. So we're going to play the Guts first off, I think. We are going to go 5, 6, 7 versus 4. Chaos Bag says +1. Well, that was... we didn't need all that firepower. But and we don't get the bonus off Wither, but that's okay. We do draw a card. There's a Shriveling. Okay, so we've got both pieces of our combat package, should we want them. And with David Renfield in play, we should not have any difficulty paying for them. Which means we can probably pitch this Arcane Initiate to the next skill test. So we can go 5, 6 versus 4. That should be okay. We're 2 up. Should be plenty. -2, so just enough. So we do another damage. We've got 1 action remaining. We need to kill this guy this turn. Is it worth risking going... He hits so hard for an enemy. 2 health and 2 sanity. Wow, just brutal. I sort of want to hang on to my Storm of Spirits and my Ward of Protection, so I think I'm just going to have to take this one at 5-4. Not great odds, but still not too bad considering this scenario. Let's see, Chaos Bag gives us a Skull. That's -X. X is the number of ghoul enemies at your location. Well, that's a -1, and it, of course, would trigger Wither now, since he would be -1 fight and -1 evade, but he will die. We hit him for just enough, so we do add him to the victory display. So we grab a nice VP right off the bat. That will take our turn, though. But it is nice we will not have to deal with him at the end. I always find in this scenario, the ghouls always sort of come out right at the end, and then you have to deal. It just turns into a real shit show if you've got to deal with too many enemies in addition to the ghoul priest. He's hard enough for Marie to take down. So we move on. Nothing in the enemy phase. Upkeep. We draw Chronophobia. We draw our weakness. So that is that. Let's see. We'll take our 3 actions. We might as well just get rid of this. We are going to advance this turn. Nothing we can do about this. We're going to save David for next turn. So I guess we just move on and we add a Doom and we will be advancing. So we remove our Doom from David and we will flip this over. Agenda 1B is a lapse in time. So the lead investigator must decide either each investigator discards a card at random from his or her hand, or the lead investigator takes 2 horror. I'm just going to take the horror. We've got plenty of sanity, so we don't have to worry too much. Agenda 2A is Rise of the Ghouls. It's got a Doom threshold of 7, so we do have some time. We are going to have to, we're going to have one less, of course, with using David. So let's, I guess we just draw our encounter card, which is going to be Obscuring Fog. Oh, that's going to add a couple shroud to this location, so it's up to a 4 now. That's interesting with the it being at the bedroom, and after you fail a skill test while investigating, you discard a card at random from your hand. So that is going to be a little, that's even money, so that's not great for, that might almost be worth canceling. Normally I wouldn't, but with the bedroom being discarding cards, we can't afford to fail a lot of skill tests, so I think I'm going to cancel that. We'll take another horror here. We'll just get rid of that, because that's going to be really annoying. Okay, we've got to take 2 actions to get rid of this chronophobia now that we're up to 3 horror. We might as well use David first off. So we will add a doom to him, and we will get another resource. So we've got 6 resources. I think now that we have a doom, we get that extra action. I'm going to use that extra action to play my shriveling for 3. Extra actions are amazing. So it has 4 charges. What do we do now? We need to take 2 actions to get rid of the chronophobia. Now we can investigate. We're 4 versus 2. Alright, let's see what the chaos bag says. We get a 0, so we didn't have anything to worry about. We didn't fail a skill test, so we grabbed that clue. We've got 2 clues of 3. And that'll be our investigation phase. So we will, nothing in the enemy phase. We draw our second Storm of Spirits. So that is going to be, that's expensive. That's 6 resources. But we do have David, and we do have Wither and Shriveling out already. So that's not bad. Maybe we can just tap David for a resource a turn. And that'll just, we'll slowly build up our resources that way. We add a doom, so we've got 2 of 7. Draw our encounter card. There's a Rotting Remains. So that's going to be a, we are 5 versus 3. I like those odds being 2 up, and we draw another 0. So we are fine. All right. So we've passed another Mythos phase. I'm going to trigger David Renfield just to gain the 1 resource. I'm not going to add a doom to him. We need the time in case we end up with having to go above or below our house. We can't really afford to lose a lot of turns. So we're going to take 2 actions to move down here to the bathroom. Bathroom is a 1 shroud location with 1 clue, and it has the forced effect after you reveal a skull cultist tablet or tentacle symbol while investigating the bathroom. Lose all remaining actions and end your turn. Well, we only have 1 action remaining, so we might as well investigate. Let's see what we get. Oh, we draw a cultist. So that's -1, and if we fail, we take a horror. No big deal. The bathroom forced effect will trigger, so we lose all remaining actions and end our turn, but our turn was over anyway. So that means we can't trigger the... we'll have to wait till the player window in the enemy phase if we want to advance our act, which we can do right now. So we will, oh, we can't, we have to be at the guest hall, so we can't do that yet. Okay, next turn, no problem. So we'll move on. There's our second copy of Wither. That's not going to be of much help to us in this game, since we've already got our first copy. Not missing anything, I don't think, so we're just going to move on. 3 of 7. We will draw our card. There is a ghoul. There is a grave eater. Grave eater has 2 fight, 2 health, and 2 evade. Humanoid monster ghoul. Forced after grave eater attacks you, discard 1 card at random from your hand. This ghoul, I believe this replaces the vanilla ghouls that were in the core set. He'll hit for a damage and a horror. Now, we could shrivel this guy in a turn, or we could save our shriveling charges and just wither him. We still get the extra action because we've got a doom. So actually using wither isn't that bad of an option here. So we'll trigger David, so we'll get our David money. We're up to 7 resources. That's awfully nice. Now we can play both Storm of Spirits if necessary. Let's wither this Grave Eater. We are going 5 versus 2. Chaos Bag gives us a +1, so he will take 1 damage. Let's do it again. Chaos Bag gives us a 0, so this guy is dead. Easily dealt with, and we still have 2 actions. Now, we cannot take draw actions at the guest hall. And that's really the only action that I would like to take. So I'm going to take 1 here. There's our second copy of David. Okay, well, if we need to kill David at some point, we will move up here. Now, this guest hall triggers... Only investigators in the guest hall may spend the requisite number. Okay, so we can do that now. We will spend our clues and advance. Act 1B is breaking the wall. We put aside the set-aside hole in the wall location. So it goes there. Then we choose an investigator in the guest hall. The chosen investigator immediately moves to the hole in the wall and reveals it. So we get a free move out of the deal. And we're back in the hallway. 1 shroud location, 0 clues. After we reveal this location, we put aside the set-aside attic, cellar, and parlor into play. So we will grab the parlor. Dump that there. Now we have to go, and these are random, so we'll shuffle these up again. And so there's a cellar. We have no idea whether it's the old cellar or the new cellar. And there's an attic. Okay, and anything we have to make a skill test, I believe, as well. Then we must test 4 willpower. For each point that investigator fails by, he or she must discard a random card from his or her hand. I don't want to discard anything. Well, I don't want to pitch anything to this test, so we're just going to go 5 versus 4. Hopefully we draw a 0. There you go. So no problem. The Chaos Bag is pretty lenient on standard difficulty here. We could go hard if we wanted to, and we'd probably still be okay. But that will be that. So we pass any sort of difficulties in the hole in the wall. We advance to Act 2A, the barrier. So we're familiar with this one. When the round ends, investigators in the hallway may, as a group, spend the requisite number of clues to advance, and we need 3 clues. So we can either get those clues at the attic and cellar, or we may have to go far above our house or far below our house to get them. We won't know that until we go to the attic and cellar. That was our turn. So we will... No enemies to worry about. We draw... Oh, there's a prophecy. Oops, there we go. We're not zoomed anymore. So, again, this prophecy is from the Circle Undone. While there are 3 or more Doom in play, prophecy gains a wild skill icon. If there are 6 or more Doom in play, it gains 2 wild skill icons. So right now, we have met the threshold for prophecy, so it is as good as an unexpected courage. So far, I'm happy that I added that card to my deck, and the art is amazing. I love the art on this card. So it's always great when you can play with cards that with great art. There's nothing worse than cards with great art being saddled with terrible game text and you having no reason to play them in your deck. All right. So that was upkeep. So let's just draw. We've added a doom, so we're at 4 of 7. So David is we're starting to feel the effects. We're gonna probably want to get rid of him at some point here. Actually, well, it really depends how many ghouls we draw in the final, in Act 3, or Agenda 3, sorry. If we have a lot of ghouls, this Doom will just rock it up, and we'll really want to get rid of David. If there aren't any ghouls, then we can play with him. We need to draw an encounter card. There is an Ancient Evils. Well, that's going to make things a little quicker. So now we're at 5 of 7. Okay, we need to get a move on here. All right, so let's get our David money first off. We will move, let's go attic. We'll see what attic we get. It's the new attic. 3 shroud location with 1 clue. After you reveal the attic, put the set aside far above your house location into play. So we have to go far above our house if we want to. Now, we don't have to go far above our house. If we get enough, if we can get, do we have to go? I can't remember. Sometimes you don't have to go. I think actually we can go far above, but if this is the far below cellar, we don't actually have to go far below because we can just grab, between this clue, and this clue, we'll have enough to advance. So we are 4 versus 3. I was really hoping to show off the Hawkeye folding camera St. Hubert's key combo because it's awesome, but we're not able to do that this episode, it seems. So we're going 4 versus 3. Let's throw David to this. Chaos Bag gives us... Chaos Bag didn't give us anything. Chaos Bag gives us a skull. That's a -X, where X is ghouls. So no ghouls equals a 0. Okay, so we've grabbed... We moved. We grabbed a clue. We'll move again. Let's go see what's far above our house. We are at the graveyard. The Field of Graves is above our house. It's a 2-shroud location with 1 clue. After you reveal Field of Graves, test 4 willpower. For each point you fail by, discard 1 card at random from each player's hand. It's worth a victory point. We're 5-4. I think I will commit 1 Storm of Spirits. We haven't seen many ghouls to speak of, so I'm feeling okay about doing that. We're 6-4. Chaos Bag says -2, so that we would have lost a card if we hadn't pitched it anyway, so that's fine. All right. We move on. Upkeep, we draw our Moonlight Ritual. Okay. That's interesting. So we have a way to remove a Doom from, or all the Doom off David if we want. So we could add another Doom to David and then play Moonlight Ritual, but I'm not crazy about that idea. We are swimming in resources. We really don't need any more, unless we happen to draw another Shriveling. Okay. Alright, we're doing okay. Let's add a Doom. So we are at 6 of 7, so we are going to be advancing next turn unless we get rid of David somehow. Let's draw a card. Come on. There we go. Okay, we got a swarm of rats. Okay, well that's Wither is amazing in this sort of situation because you know, Marie having one combat versus a swarm of rats, you'd be very tempted to use that shriveling charge on them, but now we've got Wither, we don't have to worry about that. Plus we get an extra action from David, so we will use that. Let's trigger David. I'm going to add another Doom to him. Let's be greedy and just grab more resources while we can. We will use our first free action to wither the rats. Chaos Bag gives us a +1, so the rats are dead. We'll use our second action to investigate. We're going 4 versus 2. Chaos Bag gives us a tablet. That's a -2, and we take a damage if there's a ghoul. There is no ghoul. So we grab a clue. So we've got 2 of 3. Okay, so we're going to move twice as our other 2 actions back here to the hallway. So next turn we go to the cellar. We see whether we have to go far below our cellar or not. We're going to advance this turn. I really haven't had any luck against the ghoul priest in this one with Marie. Unfortunately, my willpower isn't quite where I want it to be, so I would prefer to draw like a. At this point, I need my St. Hubert's key. The Hawkeye folding camera isn't going to do us any good because we didn't draw it early enough. So there's a deny existence, so that will protect us against, we can use that if we have to discard cards, lose resources, lose actions, take damage, or take horror. So that'll protect us against a ghoul priest's retaliate for a turn, if that happens. So okay, that's not bad. We are going to advance though. We've got 8 Doom in play, so we lose all our Doom on David. And this will advance. So we go to the tunnels below, Agenda 2B. Shuffle the encounter discard pile into the encounter deck. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a ghoul enemy is discarded. The lead investigator draws that enemy. So we are getting a ghoul whether we want it or not. So we'll shuffle these in. Shuffle it up, and let's start discarding. There's a chill from below, an obscuring fog, a crypt chill, glad to see that go, another chill from below, another crypt chill, okay. Dissonant voices, ancient evils, nice to see that go. There's a grave eater. Alright. So we draw a grave eater. Now we advance to Agenda 3A. Now this is where things get interesting. The forced effect. At the end of the enemy phase, each unengaged ghoul enemy moves 1 location toward the parlor. And also, at the end of the round, place 1 Doom on this agenda for each ghoul enemy in the hallway or parlor. Okay, so we still need to draw an encounter card, so we may end up with 2 ghouls. Let's see what we get. No, we get a new card, the Zealot Seal. It's a hex. Each investigator with 3 or fewer cards in hand must take 1 damage and 1 horror. We don't. Each investigator with 4 or more cards in hand must test willpower 2. Each investigator who fails must discard 2 cards at random from his or her hand. Now, because David doesn't have any Doom on him anymore, we don't get that +1. So we're just going 4-2. That's still pretty good, though. 4-2 isn't bad. Of course, we draw the tentacle. I guess better now than I'd rather pull a tentacle now. So we're going to have to discard 2 cards at random. We could use our Deny Existence on this to stop it. Do we care? I sort of want to keep the Deny Existence. I don't mind losing the Wither or the Moonlight Ritual. We'll just discard, I think. We'll see if we can. I don't want to lose the deny existence, but we may. Okay, we lost the Wither, that's fine. And we lost Storm of Spirits. So sort of wish we'd kept the Storm just in case things get really hairy at the end, but what can you do? We did keep our deny, though, so we do have some protection from the Ghoul Priest's retaliate if necessary. So we get our 3 actions. Of course, we can trigger David right now, using his free triggered ability to add a doom to him to get our willpower back up to 5. We'll also gain a resource. Boy, this could use a, what is that, arcane something or other right now. We could just be blowing resources like mad with 14 resources. I guess that's good. Just, you know, if we do draw our St. Hubert's Key here in the next turn or two, we can certainly get that down. I'd feel much better going up against the Ghoul Priest with 6 willpower rather than 5. So we need to deal with this Grave Eater. He's a 2/2/2, so we can wither him. We get a free action to wither, so we might as well use that. We get a -1, so he will take a damage. Use our second action to wither. We get a 0, so he is dead. Okay, so far so good. We've been able to deal with the enemies as they've come out, so no ghouls floating around. We will move to the cellar. New cellar, old cellar. Old cellar. It is the old cellar, 4-shroud location with 2 clues. After you enter the cellar, take a damage. So not happy about that with only 6 health, but we do have another victory point location. So that will give us... We killed the corpse-hungry ghoul. That's 1, 2, 3 if we clear. 2 if we kill the priest. That'd be 5. That's pretty good. Barring any other ghouls showing up. So we'll just investigate. We're 4-4. This isn't great. Now the Moonlight Ritual might be important in case we need to ditch that doom on David. We could basically keep ratcheting him up as high as we needed to and then just remove all the doom and have a ridiculous number of resources, but there's not much point to doing that. I guess we're just going to do this the hard way. We'll just go 4-4. Odds are really bad, but we draw 0. Okay, well, we get lucky and we get a clue out of the deal. Okay, so that was our final action. Let's see. No enemies. There's our Hawkeye folding camera. Well, now it's actually worthwhile playing that, because if we clear the clue on this location, we will get that willpower. So that is worth playing. So it's not St. Hubert's Key, but it will do. It's not going to help us investigate this location, but it will help us beat the Ghoul Priest. Okay, so good stuff there. We don't have any ghouls to worry about, so no extra doom. Let's just draw an encounter card. We are going to get... There's another Grave Eater. All right. I don't think I've ever seen so many Grave Eaters in one game. We do get 4 actions this turn thanks to David. We'll trigger him to get our David money. We're up to 16 resources. I wish I had stuff to spend them on. We're going to wither the Grave Eater. We get a -3. That sucks. Or does it? No, it doesn't suck. We're still good. 5 versus 2 is 3, so we're still okay. He takes a damage. We'll do it again. We get a skull. That's a -1 because there's a ghoul, but it doesn't matter. He's dead. Anyway. Okay, we are going to play our folding camera for 2 resources. That takes up a hand slot. And we have one action remaining. We can investigate. We're still going 4-4. I don't know. I'm tempted. 5-4 isn't much better, though. Let's leave it at we're okay. We don't have a lot of ghouls running around causing havoc, so we'll just go 4-4. Chaos Bag says cultist, that's going to be a -1, and we're going to take a horror out of the deal, so not great. That could have gotten rid of David if we want, but he can stick around for the time being. Okay, well, we missed our first investigation check this game. We get another prophecy. Sweet! With if we wait until we get 6 Doom in play, we get triple wild icons against the Ghoul Priest. That's pretty nice. Like the idea of that. The inner 3 actions we there we go. We add a Doom, we'll draw an encounter card, and more rats. No ghouls, but rats. So we're going to use another, we'll get our David money. Keep piling on those resources for the eventuality. Maybe this deck could use an Arcane Research. I think, is it Arcane Research or is it the other one? I can't remember. I'd have to look it up. Somebody in the chat will know. What is the card I'm thinking of? The Arcane thingamajiggy that... is it intellect and willpower boost? I'd love to have that right now. So we need to deal with the rats, but they can be withered. So we have one action for free. We get a 0, so the rats go away. Now we're just going to investigate. 4-4. We get a tablet. That's a -2. We're going to get... do it again. -2. Let's do a burn a prophecy on this. I don't want to waste a lot of time here. Yeah, we'll burn a prophecy on it. We'll go 6-4. Chaos Bag says, then of course it gives me the skull. Thanks a lot. Alright, well we do get the clue. And we do get some evidence on our folding camera, so now our willpower is up to 6. So good stuff. All right, so we have to take a turn. We can't advance right now, of course, because we're not at the hallway, so we're gonna have to basically burn a turn doing nothing until we wait till the Ghoul Priest shows up, and then things are gonna get interesting. So we'll see if I can't take down the Ghoul Priest for the first time with Marie. That would be nice to do. Oh, another Hawkeye folding camera. So there's a bunch of them in this in the cellar. Unfortunately, there are no more clues on the table to discover, or I might be tempted to play that as well and get the willpower boost from that. And go 7 versus 4 against the priest here. We got a Doom. We are at 4 of 10. We draw... oh my god. What is it with the rats in the cellar? More rats. Well, we didn't have a lot to do this turn anyway. So, better rats than ghouls. So we will spend our free action to kill the rats with Withering. Easy enough. We will use another action to move up here. I'm going to draw a couple cards. Even if we draw Baron's... oh, we need to get our David Bucks before I do that. Even if we draw Baron Samedi now, there's a deduction, that's no help. And an unexpected courage, so that's okay. So now we can kill off David if we need to, or we can play the Moonlight Ritual. Maybe I should have played the Moonlight Ritual to blank David. No, we need David. We need David powered to fight the Ghoul Priest. So we're gonna have to deal with that. He is our will. Another deduction. Thanks for showing up now. Those would have been awesome in the cellar, but they're not going to help us at the moment. So we get our actions. We add a doom. Oh, no, we need to advance the act here before we get carried away. We need to advance the act, so we can spend the requisite number of clues. Getting ahead of myself. So we flip this. Act 2B is breaking the barrier. The barrier blocking the passage to the parlor has disappeared. We reveal the parlor. Lita shows up with her flaming torch to burn our house down. And we get the ghoul priest, of course. He spawns in the hallway. Now this is happening, if you haven't played this, one of the things about you may have missed if you've played The Gathering is that the ghoul priest spawns before the end of the round, so you do have to place a doom for the ghoul priest here. So that we're actually at 6 of 10 rather than 5 of 10 with David in play. So, but other than that, we just need to defeat the ghoul priest now. And we are in very good shape to do it. We could wither him once and then fire with shriveling and hope we finish him off in a turn. So good stuff. We did add a doom already for this mythos phase, so we will just draw an encounter card, which is, there's a ghoul, another ghoul. This is the Acolyte of Umordoth. He has 3 fight, 3 health, and 2 evade, humanoid monster ghoul. Prey as fewest cards in hand. While engaged with an investigator with no cards in his or her hand, he cannot be evaded. So he is engaged with us as well. We don't have any Storm of Spirits, which we could use to get rid of him, but we don't really care about this guy because we don't. He doesn't give us anything. We win if we kill the ghoul priest, so that will be our duty here. So we're going to get 4 actions because we have a spell. We're going to get our David money. We've got to deny in case we really blow a test here. So what do we have in terms of... so our prophecy is got 3 wild icons. That is excellent. We've also got an unexpected courage. And we've got a camera we can pitch. So we're 6 versus 4. Let's pitch the camera to this test. We're going to go 7 versus 4 as our first attack. We'll wither him once. Maybe we'll get lucky and draw a special token. In which case, now we need to be careful here. Skull is minus X. X is ghouls at location. That'd be -2. So we'd be okay there. Cultist is fine. Tablet is fine, although we would take a damage. Okay, so we're all right. Chaos Bag says -3. We were 7 versus 4, so we just hit for a damage. Not a doom. No doom. Just damage. All right. 1 down. Now we can shrivel away. And we can dump cards. Prophecy. So we're going 6, 7, 8, 9 versus 4. I think we've trumped the bag. The only thing that can hurt us is a tentacle. We get a -1 for 2 damage off the shriveling. And now we can pitch we can commit the unexpected courage. So we're going 6, 7, 8. I believe the highest token's a -4, so we're trumping the bag again. Chaos Bag says -3. And that, my friends, is game. Ghoul Priest is dead. Well, that is by far the smoothest run I have had through this scenario with Marie in the half dozen or so games I have played with her. That went very, very well. So Arcane Studies. That's right. Eric came through with the card. So yeah, that was a very nice playthrough of Return to the Gathering. I have struggled in the past to kill the ghoul priest for some reason. Either I've had too many ghouls to deal with, or I've just drawn the tentacle at the bad time, and his retaliate has killed me. This time, no retaliate. Just we had all the cards we needed really to deal with him. That prophecy, great addition to the deck. I mean, you can't complain about having triple wild icons going up against the ghoul priest. Let's see how we did in terms of VPs. We ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because of the this corpse-hungry ghoul. I'm not sure whether burning down the house... I cannot remember for the life of me whether to burn down the house or not. I think I take a mental trauma. Yeah, that would be fine, wouldn't it? I should have brought this up. I need to go and find that for a sec here. I should really be playing with my sheets up, because I usually don't look at the results all that often, because I'm just interested in seeing how the deck performs. I'm not particularly concerned about advancing the... usually when I play this, I'll play the Gathering, and then I'll play Midnight Masks as a standalone. But since we did so well, we might as well see what we can do here. Campaign rules. Let's see what we have here. Nope, wrong ones. Where are we? There we are. All right, so if we burn the house down, we allow the red-haired woman to set our house ablaze. We burn our house to the ground. We earn the Lita Chantler card. We earn a mental trauma. And we get 7 experience in total, because we had 5 and we get 2 bonus. That's pretty good. If we keep our house, we get 2 bonus, and we get an extra experience, so we'd end up with 8, but we keep our house. Personally, I'd probably keep the house, because I don't plan on Lita in our deck, and I would have 8 experience points instead of 7. So we'll keep the house. We are going to keep the house when we play Midnight Masks, just for interest's sake. Yeah, I don't know if I want Lita in my deck, because I like David. I like David and the Arcane Initiate. Lita gives me... let me check here what... I rarely play with Lita, so let's see what she... let me add a card here. Maybe we'll add Lita. Maybe we'll burn the house down. Or maybe I'll just put it to a vote. Lita, we gain +1 combat. We don't want that. And we get +1 damage when attacking monsters. How many monsters are in that scenario? I think there's 1 at least. We're going to go without Lita. I'm not liking that. I prefer to have the... So we're going to have 8 experience. We're going to spend 3 on charisma. So that gives us 5. So we could double up on shriveling 2. And then we got 1 left. What does that 1 get us? Let me look at my deck here and see if there's anything that appeals to me. And then 1 card, eh? Yeah. Well, I guess we could take Lita. If we burn the house, we have 7. Then we'd have 3 for charisma, and then we'd have 4 for shriveling, to double up on shriveling. Yeah, well, okay, we'll take Lita just because we don't. That extra experience point is just going to be isn't going to help us all that much. Yeah, I would buy Arcane Studies, but the problem is, I find with Midnight Masks, it is just so fast that the idea of having 20 resources at the end of the game seems very unlikely to me. But we'll try it. Maybe we'll play a couple games of the Midnight Masks because it is a very difficult scenario, and we probably are not going to get a very good result the first time. So maybe we'll try it with the Shrivelings, and then maybe we can see how I think the buffed Arcane Studies is 2 XP as well, so we could do that. So let's reset. Rather than rebuild the decks, I will just add some cards and take them out. As I think actually I have. Let's see here. Midnight Masks. Okay, that one doesn't have the. Okay, so I've got them reversed. Alright. Let's load a deck. We'll load the Knight of the Zealot deck again, because that one has the charisma in it. Alright, so we're going to have charisma. Then we're going to go, and we're going to pull. We're going to pull those. Dump those there. We're going to add a couple cards. That's the beautiful thing about Octagon, is that you can add and remove cards quickly. Of course, I don't have upgraded Shriveling in here. Okay, so for some reason I don't have Shriveling 2 loaded. Alright, so what we'll do, we're going to pretend that our Shrivelings are Shriveling 2s instead of Shriveling 1s. And we're going to get Lita as well. So let's go grab Lita. Whoops. Alright, so now we've got Lita in there. And we'll just have to remember that our Shrivelings are Shriveling 2s. We're playing with... Chronophobia was our weakness, so we'll go grab that. Shuffle that in there, so our deck is ready to go. So, this one is going to be a little harder. This one is going to be a little harder. I have not had a good time playing the Midnight Masks, or Return to the Midnight Masks with Marie. There are a lot of enemies, and the hunting shadows can be a real pain if you don't spend your clues wisely. I think in one game I had a... Yeah, I went false leads, surged into a hunting shadow that killed me. That was really annoying. Alright, let's dump all of our locations except... Okay, we're not playing with our house, so we don't care about the house. And the graveyard stays the same. And we don't need the Ghoul Priest since he is dead. Put all those in there. Shuffle them up, and let's just draw random. South side, Miskatonic. North side. North side we've already got. Downtown. South side we've already got. Rivertown. St. Mary's. East Town. Got Miskatonic. Oh, we've got them all. All right. Don't need any of those. Okay. Let us see how this will go. Just want to take a quick peek to make sure my head is not blocking anything. All right. All right. This should be sweet. I just want to check something here. Since just want to make sure I remember. Oh, shriveling is 3. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, we can't do that. Shriveling is 3 XP. So we would go 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we'd have a 2. Okay, we'll use 1 shriveling. We can only have 1 shriveling 3 in our deck with a charisma. And so then we would need, let's pull the trench coat and we'll add Arcane Studies in. Since I cannot, for the life of me, do math properly. Where's that trench coat? It is not doing me any good. And we will add Arcane Studies. We're just going to add a regular one, I think. 3, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Or we could add. No, we could add. We could add a good one. Do I have a good one? Yes, I do. Okay. So we will add a good Arcane Studies to the deck. Not the. Dump that in there. All right, I think we've straightened things around. We're using the right amount of XP and the right cards. So we have 1 shriveling. How are we going to mark this? Because if we've only got 1 shriveling, we're going to have to figure out. I've got a way here. Oh, we do have shriveling. What am I talking about? Octagon, octagon, octagon. Alright, so we can pull out 1 shriveling and add a shriveling. Okay, now we're set. Now we're set. Okay, we've got it all straightened out. We're ready to play. No fancy setup required. Let's just draw our opening hand and we will see how we're doing. Hawkeye folding camera, that's what I like to see. Chronophobia, so we get to draw for that. We get our Arcane Studies. The upgraded one. Okay. We have a Deny Existence, that is good too. And a Ward of Protection, and an Emergency Cache. But no weapon. We need a weapon. We need some sort of weapon. So we're going to go 2. Uncage the Soul and a Guts. No, not good enough. Probably should have mulliganed the Arcane Studies too. C'est la vie. Alright, well, we don't have David and we don't have a weapon. That is not good. Alright, 3 actions. We will flip this over. It is the new Rivertown. 4 shroud location with 1 clue. Take an action to discard a card with X. Willpower icons remove X Doom from a cultist enemy in play. Group limit once per game. I have never used that because I've usually been chased by... I think in one game I had the Masked Hunter, a Night Gaunt, and one other hunter chasing me around the table, so I didn't have a lot of time to be taking actions like that. Let's get the folding camera down first. Not that it's going to help us with this particular investigate, but if we can grab a clue here. Do we pitch the arcane studies? We could commit it and grab, we'd go 6 versus 4. Yes, I'm going to do that. 6 versus 4. Chaos Bag says -2. Okay, so we grab that clue. Okay, we need... We've got 1 action remaining. If we go graveyard, we can get 2 more clues, but we trap ourselves in a corner, which is not good. But that would give us 2 clues. And we get the willpower bonus. We do clear that location, so now we're at 5 willpower, which would help us pass the check on the graveyard. So we'll go to the graveyard. Graveyard's a 1-shroud location with 2 clues. After you enter graveyard, test 3 willpower. If you fail, you either must take 2 horror or move to Rivertown. We burned the house down, so we should have a mental trauma. 2 horror or move to Rivertown. So we're testing 5-3. Tablet. -3. If you fail, place one of your clues on your location. Wow, that is bad. So we either take... So we drop a clue. I'm going to take the 2 horror. I don't want to move. I don't want to have to move back. Wow, I think that is the first time I have ever failed that skill test. I can't recall the last time I failed that skill test. All right, well, we're gonna have a little more work to do. We draw prophecy. Actually, there is one thing I forgot to do in setup. We need a random predator or prey, since otherwise I would definitely be facing the masked hunter. So we will do that before we get carried away. Add the Doom back. Alright, first encounter card of the game is a Crypt... Oh, Jesus. Well, I don't want to lose my camera, that's for sure. We're going to commit the guts to that. So we're going to go 7-4. Chaos Bag says -1. Okay, so we pass that and we draw a card. We get an Arcane Initiate. Okay, that's good. We need her to help us find a spell. We need to use her to get our to get a withering or a shriveling or something. So we drop her into play. Whoops. She's also nice because as soon as we add a doom to her, we can, if we do find a spell, we can play it. We get that extra action on our turn. So let's use her free triggered ability. She starts with a doom. Look at top 3. Come on, spell. We get another deny existence, but it's not a shriveling. Alright, well that'll protect us against the, if we draw Hunting Shadows without clues. Unfortunately, we don't get that action to play our shriveling. So we're just going to investigate 4 versus 1. Elder Sign. Elder Sign lets us add or remove a doom from a card we control. We don't have any spells to play, so we'll remove the doom from the Arcane Initiate. Yeah. So we played the Arcane Initiate. We investigated. We'll investigate one more time. Tablet's a -3. Fortunately, we are at a 4. So that will be enough to grab us a clue. We have 2 clues. We could pull our first cultist next turn, but we're going to grab this other clue before we do it. And we will, that'll be our turn. So we got a bit of a nice little boost there with the Elder Sign getting rid of that Doom on the Arcane Initiate. There's a Wither. Okay. So we draw our Wither. We can still search for a spell next turn. We add a Doom. Ah! Shit. Night Gaunt. Okay. And he has 4 health. 1 evade. Okay, so we... Now things get... This is... If we can evade the Night Gaunt, grab the clue, move away, we can start the chase. I think that's what we're going to do. First, we can free trigger our Initiate to look at top 3. Storm of Spirits or Mystifying Song. Mystifying Song is actually useful here because we can delay the arrival of whatever this is by a turn. And I think it will be better in the long run than Storm. I like Storm. Unfortunately, it's too expensive at 3, and it feels to me like it just doesn't do quite enough. Like, 2 damage is great if you're swarmed by a lot of little enemies, but a lot of the enemies in this scenario have 4 health or 3 health or like 4. Yeah, just it doesn't quite pull enough weight, and doesn't quite pull enough weight in this particular scenario. So we did pull Mystifying Song, so now we've got to try to evade. His evade bonuses are doubled, which really blows. But we're going 3 versus 1. Chaos Bag gives us a -1, so that's -2. So we succeed in evading the Night Gaunt. Okay, now we can investigate. 4 versus 1. Chaos Bag gives us another -1. So we grab the clue. We get another evidence on the Hawkeye, so we are at 5 willpower and 5 intellect. That's awesome. Love the Hawkeye folding camera in Marie. Now we're going to move, and now we have to run. We're going to spend a lot of time running. Now, I think, okay, so the cultist here... maybe I don't run. Because if I pull what's-his-name, who hangs out at the graveyard, he would attack me. Then I could parlay with him, but I'd probably have to discard 4 cards, I believe it is. I think I'm just going to risk it, that it's not him. I'm going to risk it that it's not him. Because I don't want to have to sit there, and if I draw him and the Night Gaunt, then that would be a lot to deal with. Okay, so there's the Storm of Spirits. I may not have shuffled my deck again. That's entirely possible. Let's do that. That seems like I didn't shuffle. We get an unexpected courage. Okay. Now the fun begins. We are at 3 of 6 doom. We still need to get our wither down, so we have some sort of weapon against whatever's coming after us. We need an encounter card. Do we have a way to deal with... we do have a way to deal with Hunting Shadow, but we get a Crypt Chill instead. Discard an asset. Okay, well, we can lose the Arcane Initiate if we have to. So 5-4. Yeah. Cultist -2 and place a doom on the nearest cultist enemy. No cultists in play, so we do lose our initiate, but we don't place a doom, so that's fine. Okay, well, she was going to get us our shriveling. That's unfortunate. So we'll just have to... We do have a wither, though. So our first action, we'll play the wither. Second action, we're going to see where the cultists are at. We're going to spend 2 clues and see where our first cultist is. We will shuffle them up. Our first cultist is at... It's Elma. She's one of the new ones. Elma Hill, the Inquisitive Historian. 3 fight, 3 health, 3 evade. Humanoid cultist. Spawns at south side. Parlay, draw the top 3 cards of the encounter deck. Then we add her to the victory display. She will hit us for 2 horror. Okay, so if we go... she's got 3 health. We don't have a doom in play, though, so we'd have to take 2 horror to sit there with her for a turn, and then we could try to wither her to death. Or we could just draw the top 3 cards of the encounter deck, but that seems... That's rough, especially this encounter deck. You get that one that pulls you back here, dumps you in Rivertown, Hunting Shadows, although we do have deny existences for those. Why didn't I play my Encage the Soul? That was stupid. We could go the roundabout route. I think we'll do that. We'll go to Miskatonic University instead. It is the new Miskatonic. It's a 3-shroud location with 1 clue. We can take 2 horror to gain a clue from the token pool. Not crazy about that, taking 2 horror. But we could grab a clue there. Head to St. Mary's. Next turn, the Night Gaunt can chase us in this little circle here. I believe this doesn't connect with this, does it? Just that and that. Okay. We go to the enemy phase. The Night Gaunt moves. We draw another Arcane Initiate. So we lost one, but we got one back. But man, adding that doom. We could Mystifying Song to slow it down for a turn if necessary. Alright, we had a doom. 4 of 6. Our encounter card is False Lead if you have no clues. False Lead gains Surge. If you have 1 or more clues, test 4 Intellect, and for each point you fail by, place a clue on your location. We have 5. We do not want to be placing clues on our location. We will Unexpected Courage to 7 versus 4. Chaos Bag says Tablet. That's a -3, and we place a clue. So we are fine. We go 4 versus 4, and we don't place a clue because we didn't fail. Okay. Whew. All right. We grab a clue. We go to St. Mary's. Night Gaunt goes to Miskatonic. We could play the Arcane Initiate. No, we can't. That'll advance us. We can't play the Initiate this turn. Or we could play the Initiate and Mystifying Song to delay it a turn. First things first, let's grab this clue. 5-3 because of the camera. -2. Okay, so we grab this clue. We cleared another location, so we're up to 9 sanity now. That's awesome. We will move to St. Mary's. St. Mary's is a 2-shroud location with 1 clue, and we can heal 3 damage once per turn. We could grab this clue. Uh, 5 versus 2. We get a 0. Okay, so we have 3 clues again. And so we can hunt for another cultist. We go to the enemy phase. Night Gaunt chases us. He could chase us here, but we're not going to put him there because we get to pick. So we'll put him here. We go to upkeep. Oh, we draw Baron Samedi. Well, that's okay. We had our charisma in play anyway. So, Baron Samedi. Put Baron Samedi into play. He cannot leave play while he has less than 3 doom on him. When any amount of damage is placed on an investigator in Baron Samedi's location, place 1 additional damage on that investigator. Exhaust Baron Samedi as a free triggered ability. Place 1 doom on Baron Samedi. If he has 3 or more doom on him, discard him. He's going to be very difficult to get rid of in this scenario. That extra damage he adds can really hurt Marie if in combination with Hunting Shadow. We do have 2 copies of Deny Existence though, so I'm not too worried about drawing it at the moment. So, I mean, we've sort of nullified Baron being bad because we've got the charisma, the extra damage isn't going to hurt us right now. I think that one, the one that transports us to Rivertown, if we fail the agility skill check, would hit us for 2 damage if we fail that. So at that point, we'd have to play a deny. Hunting Shadow, we'd have to play deny or lose a clue. We are an upkeep. So let's 5 of 6. We know bad stuff's going to happen. We may just have to run. That may be our strategy this game. We get a locked door. Hey, that is about the best time to draw a locked door when you're Marie. Attach to the location with the most clues. There are no locations with the most clues, so we can lock this door. Nice. Very nice. Okay, that we caught a break there. Basically, the encounter deck whiffed. Okay, so now we need to deal with Alma. Can we afford to draw 3 encounter cards? Man, that's risky. We haven't seen... We could draw... Okay, if we draw cultists... Actually, drawing cultists right now is in those... I forget what they're called, but the cultists that add a doom, if we draw them now, their doom is gonna... We're in the witching hour anyway, so it won't matter. So that's okay. Hunting Shadow is bad, but we get to... We have Deny Existence to deal with that if we don't want to lose a clue. We can Mystifying Song to prevent us from advancing. We can spend a couple clues. So the question is, okay, so if we drew the locked door. So if we move, draw 3 encounter cards to parlay, we get rid of Alma, we spend 2 clues to see where the next cultist is going to be. We can Mystifying Song at the end of the turn to prevent the advance. Okay, that's as good as plan as any. So we move. We engage Alma. So which so side is this? So side, 2 shroud location with 1 clue. Search your deck for an ally asset and add it to your hand. Shuffle your deck, limit once per game. We only have 1 other ally asset we can get. I guess Lita is one. But time is of the essence here. So we're gonna parlay with her. So draw top 3 cards of the encounter deck. Number 1, Hunting Shadow. Okay, we knew this was coming. You must either spend a clue or take 2 damage. I am going to deny exist. I'm going to not spend the glue, and I'm going to deny existence that. Okay, no damage. Number 1 whiffs. Number 2, Masks of Umordoth. Attach to the farthest cultist enemy and place 1 doom on that enemy. If there are no cultist enemies in play, we search. Farthest cultist enemy, I mean, there is only one, and it's Alma. So she will gain, let's see, attached to farthest cultist enemy. So it goes on her. That's fine. Actually, this whiffs too. She gets +2 health. She is unique. I think we added Doom to her. Yeah. So that doesn't make much difference. Okay, so we've gotten lucky so far. 2 cards have whiffed. Number 3, another one. Okay, so we draw 2 Masks of Umordoth. Attached to farthest cultist enemy. Place where there are no cultists. Maybe she is a cultist, right? So we just attach 2 of them. So she's got like monstrous health. So she's got 5, 7 health. Okay, that's fine. So we drew our 3 cards, and then we put her in the victory display. And these get discarded. Oh, that was good. That was very good. So that little gamble paid off handsomely. We drew 3 cards that basically whiffed. So now we are we have 1 action remaining. We can pull our next cultist and see where they land. We're going to Mystifying Song to prevent this from advancing this turn. So we're going to buy ourselves a turn. Okay, so let's see where the next one is at. Cultist number 2 is Peter. Peter is hanging out at Miskatonic University. Peter Warren, the occult professor, 2 fight, 3 health, 3 evade. Humanoid cultist Miskatonic spawns at the university. We can spend 2 clues to parlay. Add him to the victory display. He is worth a victory point. We could also just wither him to death. It will take us 3 actions to do it, though, which is not... This is the one problem with wither, is that it is extremely action intensive. It's great for the bonus, being able to use willpower instead of combat, but it is time consuming, and time is not something we have a lot of in this scenario. Okay, so we we're going to advance to the enemy phase. The Night Gaunt continues his futile chase after us. Go to upkeep. We draw an emergency cash. Probably don't need that. I think maybe, I haven't run into resource issues in the past 2 games. I think maybe the cash could come out in place of something else. I've had my eye on Premonition for a while. I'd kind of like to squeeze one of those in. So maybe the cash doesn't need to be there. We seem to be doing, we've got 6 resources, even without David in play. So we're doing okay resource-wise. However, we are going to pay 3 of those right now, because we're going to add a Doom, and then we're going to play this Mystifying Song. When the agenda would advance by reaching its Doom threshold until the end of the phase, the agenda cannot advance. So we stop the agenda from advancing. All right, so we buy ourselves a turn. We need to draw an encounter card, though, which is a false lead. Again, if you have no clues, false lead gains surge. If you have 1 or more clues, test 4 intellect. For each point you fail by, place 1 of your clues on your location. We are a 5 intellect. I do not want to place clues. We'd have to go prophecies, 3 icons right now, since there's 6 Doom in play. That's my only... I could use my Deny Existence, but that's way too valuable. If we end up placing a clue, we'd have to grab... We go grab... Discover 2 clues, move up to Rivertown. Then we could either try to kill Peter. We're going to have another enemy, though. We could go... The problem is we can't go there right away because we need to give the Night Gaunt some space. I think I'm just going to go... I'll just go straight up. 5 versus 4. Chaos Bag gives us an Elder Sign. Okay. That's add or remove a Doom from a card in play. It's too bad we didn't have a Doom on Baron Samedi, because then we could add a Doom, exhaust him, and add another Doom and clear him. But he's not hurting us at the moment. And I don't think adding a Doom... We can't clear him this round even if we add a Doom. Or can we? Oh, we can! This is the Mythos phase, right? We can add a Doom to him. Add a Doom during the Mythos phase. He'll ready during our upkeep. We hit him again, and we clear him. Okay. Yeah. Good stuff. Okay. That Elder Sign was very timely. Okay, so we will... I guess during the Mythos phase, we'll use that player window to add a Doom to him. And then we'll do it again during the upkeep and get rid of him. Okay, so we have... now would be the ideal time actually to also play our Arcane Initiate, because we'll lose the Doom once we advance next turn. So let's give ourselves a 3 actions. We need to clear this location first. We're going 5 versus 2. Oh! -4. Too much. So now we can't play the Initiate and get out. So 5 versus 2. Skull, that's -0. Too bad the Initiate wasn't a spell herself. Okay, and then we have to move. Too bad we failed that 1 skill test. We could have played the Initiate. Enemy phase, the Night Gaunt keeps chasing. we upkeep, and during the upkeep we trigger Samdi as soon as the action window opens to get rid of him. So he's gone. And we drew our Shriveling. Okay. Awesome. And we've got an Uncage the Soul. We could play... Actually, we could play Initiate. Sorry, I'm thinking like many moves ahead here. We play Initiate. That gives us another action, so we can play Shriveling. We can take out Warren with a Shrivel and a Wither. But we're going to get an enemy here anyway. So I may not want to get too far ahead of myself. Okay. We add a Doom. Now we are advancing. And we are going to have to see what this thing is. It is the Masked Hunter, our good old friend, the Masked Hunter. He shows up. We will put Agenda 2A into play. Agenda 2A, of course, the Resign action, and it has a Doom threshold of 8. 8 turns, and we have 1 cultist, so we need to get a few more. The Masked Hunter is a 4/4/2. He's a humanoid cultist elite, engaged with prey with the most clues, which is us. He's a hunter, and he gets 2 health per investigator, so he's rocking 6 health right now. While you were engaged, we cannot discover or spend clues. Now this is going to be tricky. We need to get away from this guy. We can't kill him with Wither. That's not going to happen. We could kill him with Shriveling if we get in the right position. Let's see what our encounter card is first before we get too crazy. It is Obscuring Fog. Okay, we get the encounter deck throws us a freebie there. Okay, now we need to get away from this guy. That would take 1 action. If we play the Initiate as our second action, that actually gives us an action back. Then we can play Shriveling. We can move over to Miskatonic U. We deal with Peter the following turn, and then move, and hopefully keep these guys at bay. This is the one thing I don't really like about this deck, is the Uncage the Soul. Now, Uncage the Soul goes in so many Mystic decks, but it doesn't work with Marie's, with her ability, because it's not a spell. All right, well, it all depends on getting away from the Masked Hunter. So if we can get away from him this in 1 action, we play the Initiate, play our Shriveling, move, we take 1 attack from Peter, and we'll be okay. So we need to Prophecy. Prophecy's only 1, though. It's only going to get us 1... it's only going to get us 1 icon. We'd be going 4 versus 2. Yeah, we got to do it. 4 versus 2. Chaos Bag says, "Oh! Oh! Okay. Well, had to come sometime. I wish it wasn't then." So we draw a Tentacle as our first action. So that's going to change our plans. So So now we've got to evade move, and we've got to go, we're going to have to go this way. We're going to have to go east town that way to get to Peter. All right, let's do it again. Now we're just going 3 versus 2. This is even worse. -1. Okay. He is evaded. All right, and then we'll move. Okay, we move to East Town 4 Shroud location with 2 clues. I may take an action to add 2 supply tokens or ammo tokens to an asset you control. That's not of any relevance to us whatsoever. Okay, so what do we do next turn? We need to move once, so we could go initiate shriveling. God, that's a victory point too. Initiate shriveling, move. We could grab 1 clue, pull another cultist, and see where we go. The problem is now we're going to have to face off against the hunting night god and this chump if we were going to try to kill him. Okay. Well, let's see how we do here. Enemy phase, the hunting night god moves up. Upkeep, we draw David. So we've got a couple hunters chasing us now. We draw David, not overly helpful. He's got 2 health. He gives us an extra willpower. Is he a better choice than the initiate? Maybe. For the extra willpower, definitely. With the extra willpower, we're at 6. And we have just enough resources to play them. Okay, well, let's see what we draw. 1 out of 8. Encounter deck, a locked door. Well, that... well, there was nothing we could do about that. I don't have a ward of protection to cancel that. We don't have the strength, we don't have the combat or agility to unlock this thing with any ease. So we're just going to have to keep moving. If we move to downtown, we're still okay. They can chase us this way. So David or the initiate. We've got our spells, so that I think David is the better choice. So first action, we'll pay 2 to put David into play. See, now we need... Well, David is such a... With David, you need to keep the doom on him. That's the problem. So Moonlight Ritual isn't great. We will trigger him as a free ability to get our resource back. Now we can play our spell for free as a free action. So we get our shriveling level 3. That's great. So when we shoot with the shriveling 3, we are at we're now at 6 willpower. 6, 7, 8. We're shooting for 8. That's pretty good. So we played him as our first action. We played that as our free action. Now we need 3 actions to kill the masked hunter. Three actions to kill the masked hunter. So we need to set it up so we can... Let's move over to downtown. Maybe downtown will give us a VP. Downtown will too. Okay. Downtown, we can heal 3 horror if we take an action. 4 shroud location, 2 clues, and a victory point. Now I want a deduction. Where are my deductions? We can take an action to try to grab us a clue. That's 5 versus 4. Or do we just... Or do we just pull our next cultist? So we know where they are. Okay, so the one guy, the cop, the nasty cop, shows up at Easttown. He would be hard to deal with. The cannibal would show up at downtown. He would be, I think he's 4 health, so we could kill him. Victoria would show up at North Side. She would require 5 resources, which we could get between David and our emergency cash. Ruth shows up here. So, yeah, she's the evade one. And then there's Herman over here at the graveyard, which is discard. So really, the worst ones would be the cop and Herman. Let's see where we... Let's pull. We need to find out where we're going here. It is... Ah, shoot. It's Herman. Okay, well... Okay, so if we want 3, we could go... we kill Peter and go Herman, and we get the 3, and then maybe we have enough to go take out the hunter for 4. I think 4 is about as good as we can do. Okay. Yeah, it's too bad it was Herman. Hunter's move. I hope you guys are having... you're being entertained. Whoa, look at all this chat. Oh, I see. So the Night Gaunt is connected. Okay. Yeah, I knew there was one of these locations where he's all right, so because I screwed that up. It is, isn't it? Okay. He goes here, right? Okay, so we will actually, what we'll do, we will take a couple damage. Let's say 3. We'll take 3 damage. And we'll engage with the Night Gaunt because we made that mistake. Because the Night Gaunt can, you guys are right, he can go Miskatonic south side. So we'll take the 3 damage as a penalty, and that will serve us right. So now we just have the Hunter to deal with, but we also have the Night Gaunt. Okay. There's our deduction. Okay, so we do draw a deduction. I really don't want to waste shriveling charges killing a Night Gaunt. Okay, so now we add a Doom. So now we are at 3 of 8. Encounter card is one of the... these guys are terrible. 3 fight, 1 health, 1 evade. Humanoid cultist, disciple of the Devourer. They spawn at the farthest empty location. So what is that going to be? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So it can go pretty much anywhere in these 3. So let's put him down here. Actually, that sort of helped us because we... after you spawn Disciple of the Devourer, you must either place 1 Doom on it or place a clue on your location. Otherwise, do both if it's agenda, not agenda 1. So we just get a Doom. So now we're at 3, 4 of 8. Yeah, this is going to be tough to... This is going to be tough. Well, let's see if we can't get away from the Night Gaunt first. 3 versus 1, but he doubles. -2, so that's 4. Let's try it again. -1. Okay, so he is evaded. We have 1 action remaining. We might as well get our Renfield bucks, and we'll move away. North side, 3 shroud location, 2 clues. Spend 5 resources to gain 2 clues from the token pool. Okay, that would be actually... that might be worthwhile, because then we could parlay him in 1 action rather than 2. Or we just grab these 2 clues with a deduction. We need hunters to move again. All right. And we upkeep. We draw guts. We're up to 4. So we could... Whoops. I got rid of my Haunting Night Gaunt here. Okay, so... if we grab 2 clues with... Spend our 5 resources to grab 2 clues, move parlay, we can deal with Peter in 1 shot. Then we go take care of Herman. Then we try to kill... We save our shots for the masked hunter. Okay, that's the plan, I think. 4 of 8. We get a Haunting Shadow. We have no clues, so we're having to deny existence that, so we don't take the damage. All right. We can trigger... David is our free action. Free triggered ability to gain another resource. So we have 5. We can trigger the ability on... on the north side to gain 2 clues. We can spend an action to move. We can spend an action to parlay with Peter and add him to the victory display. All right. Hunters will move. There's no fancy tricks here, eh? No. Okay. We go there. We get a Storm of Spirits. Interesting. Again, it only does 2 damage, and everything has like 4 health. That's not great. 3, 4, 5. Oh, we're going to go 6 out of 8. Yeah, we're only going to get 3. Unless we can kill David somehow. Or we kill this guy somehow. 4, 5, 6 of 8. We get another... actually, we had no clues because we spent them on Peter. So this guy goes... This Disciple of the Devourer goes 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1. Yeah, so he's up here, and he adds another doom. Okay, does that 4, 5, 6, 7? Yeah, we can't do it. Shoot. Yeah, that guy hurt. That guy really hurt. Because now we can't go 1, 2, and then we can parlay with him, but we can't resign. So we'd run out. We get 3, but we wouldn't be able to. Resign. If we go 1, 2, kill this guy. 4, 5, 6. I think we can actually do it. If we kill the disciple at south side, if we go 1, 2, kill the disciple, then that buys us one more turn. Then we go 1, 2. We take an action. So Herman makes an attack of opportunity against us, and then he attacks us again to kill David. That buys us another turn. Then we discard 4 cards and resign. I think that's... I don't... yeah. Where are we here? Oh, we're in the mythos phase. Okay, so we have our 3 actions. We have to get rid of some doom here. So we'll go 1, 2. We engage this guy. We need this guy to die this turn. So we will... we can wither him, but we can pitch, commit the Uncage the Soul to go 6, 7, 8 versus 3. That should be enough. We get a 0. Okay, so he is dead. Okay, so that was the turn. Enemies move. We go... Get another Storm of Spirits. We could double Storm of Spirits. Do we have the resources for it? No, we don't. We could take... I forgot to take my David Bucks last turn. Playing so sloppy right now. All right. 5, 6, 7. We get masked horrors. Each investigator with 2 or more clues takes 2 horror. If no horror is dealt, place 1 doom on the current agenda. Ow. What a stupid way to lose the game. All right, so that plan went to pot with the masked horrors, because it adds a doom and then the agenda can advance. So we only ended up getting 2, and I ended up screwing up that game. So that was not a good showing. Yeah, it's hard to... not great. Let us... how long have we been going? 209? All right, I'm going to play one more. I'm not happy with that game. And then I think that'll be enough. Let's reset. Let's try this again. Try not to make mistakes this time. All right. So we need, first of all, we need to grab our weakness. Then we need to grab our one shriveling. Where is it? There it is. We need to grab Lita and a shriveling and an arcane studies. All right. Those will all go in there. Okay, and we're set up and ready to go. All right, let's give this one more try. See if we can't put up a better result. So we don't need our house. We need the graveyard. Don't need the ghoul. Downtown, Rivertown, Miskatonic, Easttown, Southside, St. Mary's. Got Southside. We're just missing Northside. There's Northside. All right. We are back in action here. Marie starts at Rivertown. One shroud location with one clue. It's the old Riverside. Or old Rivertown. Let's see what our hand has. Oh, we need to do that as well, just in case we end up with the with what's his name? Who knows? We may not end up with the Masked Hunter. All right, let's draw our opening hand and see what we get. We got Shriveling. We got St. Hubert's Key. We've got David. We've got Arcane Studies. We've got the Emergency Cache, which probably shouldn't be in the deck. We got... it's a good hand. We'll just draw the one. Moonlight Ritual. Okay, well, maybe we can use that to delay us a turn with when we're ready to advance. All right, we're ready to go here. Let's go. Whoops. One action for David. So he will get us... we pay 2 resources for him. We add a Doom. And we get a resource back. Then we can play St. Hubert's Key as our second action. So our willpower and now our willpower is at 6 and our intellect is at 5. That's a good start. As our second action, third action, we investigate. Chaos Bag gives us a -1. We grab a clue. Upkeep, we draw a deduction. Okay, that's a good, that's a nice pull to go to the graveyard. Grab those 2 clues. Let's see what our first encounter card is going to be. Crypt Chill. Okay, so we are actually a 5. We're a 6 versus 4. I'm going to, during one of my player windows, I'm going to trigger David. I'm going to add a doom. Gain 2 resources just in case I blow this. I'm going to go 6 versus 4, and if I blow it, I get rid of David. Chaos Bag says +1, so I don't blow it. But we have enough resources to play our Shriveling now. All right. So we'll get 3 actions. We will pay 1 to move to the graveyard. 1 shroud location with 2 clues, and we've got to make a 6 versus 3 willpower skill tester. We take 2 horror. Chaos Bag gives us a -1, so we pass that. We will... we get a free action to play our Shriveling, thanks to the Doom. We can investigate and play our Deduction. We draw an Elder Sign. I'm going to remove a Doom from David. And we grab these 2 clues. Move, investigate, Shriveling. We've got 1 action left. Let's spend it to see where our first cultist is coming. First cultist is going to be at Miskatonic University. Okay. Good stuff. So we can get there easily enough. Unfortunately, it's going to cost us 2... It would cost us 2 Shriveling charges to kill that guy. Unless we want to go the clue route. Depends how many clues are at Miskatonic University. I could take a couple of attacks of opportunity. But I'd rather spend clues to get more cultists out. Anyway, that's our turn. We draw an Unexpected Courage. We are at 3 of 6, and we get... there's the Bloody Night Gaunt again. All right, well... we need to evade him. I'm going to get my bucks first. From David, I'm going to 3 versus 1. That's a -6. That's not going to help. Whoops. 3 versus 1. Elder Sign again. I'm going to remove another Doom from him. We don't need the willpower right now. So he is evaded. So that's good. That was our second action. Third action, we move away. All right. There's our Chronophobia. Okay, well, we're going to have to take a few horror, I think. Taking 2 actions to get rid of that is going to be a pain right now. At a Doom, we are at 3 of 6, thanks to David not having any Doom on him. And we draw the Masked Horrors. Each investigator with 2 or more clues takes 2 horror. If no horror is dealt, place 1 Doom on the current agenda. I only have 1 clue, so I'm going to take... we're just adding a Doom. That is nasty. That's the last thing this scenario needed, was like an Ancient Evils to speed it up. So we're at 4 of 6 now. 3 actions. We need to... if we go Miskatonic, we could kill Peter. Problem is... or we go this way. We go east town, north side. It's not a great plan, though, because if we pull another cultist behind us, we're... they probably have 6 health. Like, the Masked Hunter has 6. That's 3 shriveling charges. Let's go the other way. We will move up to East Town. East Town 2 shroud location with 1 clue. We will... yeah, okay, so we can investigate 5 versus 2. We draw another Elder Sign. Okay, well that's fine. And then we're gonna go downtown. 3 shroud location with 1 clue, and we can gain 3 resources. I think so. We're gonna have to take a horror due to the chronophobia. That's fine. It's a direct horror, so we can't dump it on David. Enemies are gonna move to Rivertown. So we draw Storm of Spirits. That might not be too bad, actually, if we can sort of get everybody together here at Miskatonic University. Peter would take through... without the Wither, though, I can't. It's still 2 shriveling. Well, it's still a shriveling charge. 5 of 6. We get an Obscuring Fog. All right. That's going to be a 5 shroud location now. We can... so that's even. But we need to stay here a turn. We're going to get... yeah, okay, I'll take 2 actions to get rid of the chronophobia, and then I'll take an action to investigate. I'm never going to play this. Chaos Bag gives us -2, so we succeed. We were at 7 versus 5, so we grab this clue. We go to enemy phase. Night Gaunt moves. We draw an emergency cache. We advance. Okay. It is the Masked Hunter again. I was hoping what's his name was going to make an appearance at some point. So he is engaged with us. Now we could try to kill this guy. We could try to kill him. We get an extra action if we trigger David. So we could kill him and then move away. I'd rather deal with this guy once and for all. I'd be 6 versus 4. It's 3 shriveling charges though. Man, oh man. But we'd have the clues to deal with him, and then we'd have a little more. We'd just have the 1 enemy chasing us rather than 2. Let's see what the encounter get. False lead. So if we have no clues, false leads gain surge. Otherwise, we have to test 4, and for each point we fail by, we place a clue on our location. I hate to do it, but I am going to use an unexpected courage on that. That's a 0, so we didn't need the unexpected courage. So we place no clues. Let's kill this guy. We'll trigger David. Add a clue, gain a resource. Now we're at 6 willpower. Again. So now we will shrivel We will go 6, 7, 8 versus 4. Chaos Bag says -2. So he takes 2 damage. I need to put my actions on here. So that'll be our free action because we have a Doom. We will shrivel again. Gives us a tablet. That's a -3. So he takes another 2 damage. And so we have 2 actions remaining. Last shrivel. Oh, and we take a horror because of the shrivel. That's fine. Chaos Bag gives us a 0. All right. The Masked Hunter is dead. Just like that. And we have 1 action remaining. So we can leave this place. We get to North Side. North Side, 3 Shroud location, 2 clues. We can spend 5 resources to gain 2 clues from the token pool. Now we could actually parlay with Peter. We only have 1 shriveling charge left, so... And we have 3 clues, so we can spend and see where we show up. Okay, that actually worked out all right. Enemy moves. Hunting Night Gaunt gives chase. We get a Word of Protection. That's nice. That'll save us from a Haunting Shadow. And so we have 2 Doom of 8. We get another Obscuring Fog. As much as I would like to cancel that. 1, 2, 3. Take an attack. I'm going to cancel that. I need that. I need those clues. I'm willing to risk a Haunting Shadow right now. So we get 3 actions. We're going to go 5 versus 3. Tablet. Oh, that's going to fail, isn't it? Oh, shoot. And we lose a clue out of it. It's even worse. Yeah, that was not great. Get my David bucks. Gonna try to investigate again. Tablet Tentacle back to back. Where can I go? We'll move. We'll engage him. Miskatonic 4 Shroud location, 2 clues. We can search our deck for a tome or spell and add it to our hand. That might be okay for a Wither. We're going to take a damage, which I'll put on him. Night Gaunt moves. We draw a Wither. Okay, that's good, because we can play that for free. So we are at 2, 3 out of 8. We draw a Mask of Umordoth. Attach to farthest cultist enemy and place 1 Doom on that enemy. He is the farthest cultist enemy. And he gets a Doom. He gets +2 health, but he's not aloof, so that's fine. We'll just spend the 2, so we get our actions. I'm going to use David. to gain a resource. Now I could take an attack of opportunity here and get rid of David. Or I could just, I'm not sure how the timing works out there. I'll keep David around for now. I'll spend the 2 clues to parlay with this guy and add him to the victory display. As our first action, as our free action, we will play Wither. We will investigate once. -4, that's not going to do it. We'll move down to St. Mary's. 2 shroud location, 1 clue, heal 3 damage. Alright. Night Gaunt moves. Okay, so now he's got us cornered, so we're gonna take, actually this might be the time we kill David with this next attack here. The Night Gaunt can kill him for us. We get the Hawkeye folding camera. That's not going to be very helpful right about now. We're shy of intellect, not willpower. We are at 4 of 8. We get one of the Disciples of the Devourer, farthest location. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. He can go up here, and he gets a Doom. We are 4, 5 of 8 now, and we've only got 2. All right. We will investigate. 0. So we go 5 versus 2. We get a 0. So we grab 1 clue. Investigate. Tablet. 5 versus 2. That's a pass. Okay, so we got that one. Didn't have to drop a clue. Those tablets are nasty. Now, do we just sit here and take the attack from the Night Gaunt and lose David? Let's get our David money while we can. And then we will, let's use our last action to pull another cultist. Who knows? Maybe it'll be Ruth. Let's, so we've got 2. We want to try to get, oh, it's Jeremiah. Okay, well, he's at Rivertown. That's okay. I haven't seen Jeremiah that often. Your next door neighbor, 4 fight, 3 health, 4 evade, humanoid cultist, your house. Otherwise, he spawns at Rivertown. Parlay, add him to the victory display, then test 4 willpower. Place 1 doom on the current agenda for each point you fail by. Well, this seems perfect for Marie. Although we'd have to lose. We're planning on losing. Or do we just save him for this? Like 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's so many ways that they can. And I've got 1, 2. Shriveling. I could also Moonlight Ritual to save us that doom. Yeah, I think I'm going to wait. So he is going to come to us this turn. So he attacks us. We'll take a damage and... Whoops. Miskatonic University doesn't launch an attack. The Night Gaunt attacks us for 1 and 1. And we draw Mystifying Song. Oh, nice. Okay, and we've got a lot of resources we can spend on that. So we actually get an extra turn here. So this might work out okay if we can get... If we can evade the Night Gaunt, get to Jeremiah, and parlay with him, then we would be in very good shape. Yeah, we're at 4, 5, 6 of 8. We draw, oh my god. Double Night Gaunt. Ugh. I thought 1 would be fine, but 2 is not good. We'd have to evade. Yeah, that Storm of Spirits. I just wish it did a little more damage. What we need is Storm of Spirits like level 3. Like how many levels do you need to add to it to get an extra damage out of it? Because then it would be awesome. Then I would play it. But right now, every time I have it in my hand, I'm like, it just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't work for me. All right. Oh, wow. People are still watching. Glad everybody... Yes, I added my weakness and Lita. I did... Oh, maybe I didn't pull out the trench coat. That's one thing I probably... There's probably one extra card in this deck. In my haste to... Yeah, it's fine. I'll just discard it if I draw it. I wouldn't... Okay, now we've got 2 Hunting Night Gaunts to deal with. This is going to be brutal. Best bet is we evade. 4, 5. Or do we play Storm? Okay, let me think about this for a second. We get 4 actions. Storm for 1. That deals 2 damage to each of these guys. Shriveling for 1 kills this guy. 2 Withers kill this guy. Then we go 4, 5, 6, 7. We can Mystifying Song to stop if we need to. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's better than trying to evade all these guys. So we will play our Storm of Spirits. So we are going 6 versus 3. Yeah, 6 versus 3. Chaos Bag, -2. Okay, so everybody takes some damage. All right, we Shrivel. That was our free action. We Shrivel Hunting Night Gaunt number 1. So we are going 6, 7, 8. I'm going to get my David Bucks before I forget. 6, 7, 8. -4, so that is still a hit, so he dies. Okay, maybe Storm of Spirits isn't so bad. We're still going to need 2 Withering actions to kill this guy, but... Yeah, okay, so now we wither. 4. We're 6 versus 3. Wither 1. Tablet. That's still a success. We're 6 versus 3. So he takes a damage and he drops to 2-0. Okay, so we wither again. And we get a 0, so he dies. Goodbye, Night Gaunts. Okay. 4, 5, 6. We're going to go up to 7 this turn. So we killed the Night Gaunts. We get a Ward of Protection. That can stop. What is that bloody card that advanced the agenda the last time? This one, the Masked Horrors. So we can cancel that, which will stop the agenda from advancing. Okay, so we drew, Ward. We go to 5, 6, 7 out of 8. We draw. False lead. We have no clues, so false lead surges. Hunting Shadow. Do I care? No, I take the 2 damage. Okay. We get our 3 actions. One, 2. So we go 1, 2. We parlay with Jeremiah as our 3rd action. So we've got to make a 6 versus 4 willpower test. We'll commit the Hawkeye camera to go 7 versus 4. And as long as we don't add any doom, we will get rid of him. Okay, Chaos Bag. Tablet, -3. So what did I say? We went 6, 7 versus 4. So that's 3. We're fine. Okay, so we get this guy. Okay, good. We will get our bucks. We go to enemy phase. We draw and uncage the soul. We will go, so then we advance, so this goes 6, 7, 8, but then we play our Mystifying Song for 3 to cancel the end of the game. However, we don't really have anything we can do with 3 actions. We draw an encounter card. There's a locked door, so that goes on north side. And yeah, we're done. Because we can't, we cannot resign. Or do we go? Yeah, I don't think we can even get, so if we move here, do something, he hits us for an attack of opportunity and David dies. Then we kill him. We get rid of 2 doom, but that just buys us a turn. And we can't really, we're like way out to lunch there. Oh, we went through south side. South side has a clue. But that still doesn't get us. Like, we'd need, the best I think we could do would be to move and grab 2 clues, but then we still don't get to resign in time. So I think that's going to be it for this game. We did get 3 of the cultists. We got Jeremiah, Peter and the Masked Hunter. And then I believe it's, I'm not sure how many more. Is it 3? Let me check here. How many do we shuffle in? Chad, how many people do we need to how many cultists are there? 6? I can't remember. 2, yeah, I think it's 6. 1, 2, there'd be 4 left. Let's see who they are. Herman, Ruth, and Victoria. And him. Yeah, I don't think we can, yeah, I don't think we can get another, the best we could do would be to clear a location for a VP, but we can't do that and resign at the same time. So that is going to do it. So we did end up with, we ended up with 3 of the 6. Okay, yeah, so 6 plus the Masked Hunter. So there would be, let's see. So the other 4 are Herman, Ruth, Victoria, and Billy was the last one. So Herman was right next door, but we didn't have any clues to get him. So, oh well. Well, that was a much better game. I think that's actually probably the best game. How do I like Marie? I think Marie is a lot of fun to play. I really enjoy. I've been really enjoying this Marie deck that I've been playing. It still needs tweaks. I think like the more I play it, the more you see cards that you can take out. Things like the emergency cache, things like I think these games really made it clear that the Uncage the Soul is really unnecessary. Just because it doesn't mesh with her special ability. Like I just never use it. I'm either going to pitch it for 2 willpower icons, or I never seem to play it. So, but Marie, like having 4 actions is awesome. Yeah, I never played her when she was first released. I only started playing her with the release of the Circle Undone, and she is definitely a good investigator. With like cards like Wither really help. Like I think Wither helps all the mystics out a huge amount. Obviously, somebody like Marie doesn't need Sixth Sense, but Sixth Sense is another big one. I'd like to go back and revisit. I might do that next. Maybe revisit Father Mateo, because I played 24 games with him against the Forgotten Age, and just felt like I was spinning my wheels the whole time. So I'd be really curious to give him another attempt with some of the new Mystic tools that we've seen in this cycle. It like all the cards the Mystics have been getting have just made me want to play Mystic, and they're the only real class I've been playing lately. They're just it's just an interesting class to play. And I think with Marie, like getting 4 actions a turn most turns, if you can keep a Doom in play on somebody like David, or even the Arcane Initiate in a pinch, that's just huge. I mean, that's like having a free Leo DeLuca on the table. Yeah, you can. Yeah, and I haven't even explored the cards, like some of the other cards in there. Like Shortcut is a really good one. Lucky is another one that could probably make the cut instead of Emergency Cache. I think the problem with with this deck in particular, Marie only gets 5. I believe she only gets 5 Seeker and Survivor cards, and This deck is playing it's playing two deductions and two Hawkeye folding cameras. So I could play like one card, like I could play a lucky or a shortcut or something like that in addition. I've just found in testing that the Hawkeye camera is amazing. If it comes down early, getting that extra willpower and intellect, like you can't go wrong turning her into a 5/5 right off the bat. And if you're lucky enough to get, say, David and the key, she's a 6/6, and you really don't need. Like I took the perceptions out because she was never failing intellect tests, so she's really good as far as she's very good at invest. Like I think she's got all this. Like she's got the strengths what you want in a really good investigator. She's got the extra action a turn, which is amazing. She's got high intellect, which is amazing, and she's got a pretty, a 4 willpower gives her a really good, if she's got shriveling and shriveling 3, then she's hitting for 6 base, plus if you get the camera, she's up to 8. 8 with the camera and St. Hubert's Key, 9 if you've got David on the field as well. So really, really strong combat option as well. So she can fight, she can investigate, and she can take extra actions. So she's really, really strong, a really strong investigator. And so yeah, I think the cards I would take out after playing tonight would definitely be the emergency cash. Probably take out. I think I would probably take out the uncage the soul. I just never seem to use it. I miss the 2 willpower icons, but the fact that you've got prophecy now available to you, I don't think it's as necessary to have those 2 extra willpower icons in Uncage the Soul when you can play prophecy instead. Trenchcoat, I mean, we never saw it, so we only had it in one game and we never saw it, and it didn't matter. So I would take that out as well, and maybe I think I do have one slot for something else. So I mean, a card like Shortcut or Lucky would be pretty. Maybe Shortcut. I mean, she does. This deck isn't playing Astral Travel, which I might include a copy of. The 2 deductions seem sort of necessary because she doesn't have a way to get multiple clues, which is really helpful, especially on a scenario like this one where there are a lot of locations. Like in this one we had North Side, Miskatonic, and Graveyard, both with 2 clues. So if you can grab all of those clues at once, then you're in a lot better shape than having to nickel and dime it. Yeah, the locked doors are a real pain for Marie, and I'm not sure how. Like you'd have to really shoehorn. Speaking of track shoes, shoehorn some cards in to really try to get more agility skill icons in the deck. So. But yeah, thank you everyone for joining me tonight. I know this is going to be a late stream for some of you out there, but it's always great for you guys to join me and chat about the game. And thanks for all the compliments about the channel and whatnot. It's been a little bit quieter of late, but I felt like I just needed to take a little bit of a break. But I guess playing Marie and as well playing that game of if you haven't had a chance to check out my playthrough of the Witching Hour, that game was I think one of the reasons why I love this game so much, because it was just it's such a tense game all the way through. There's points where I think I thought I had lost it for sure, and then managed to scrape by. So if you haven't had a chance to check out that playthrough, definitely check it out. There'll be playthroughs coming for at Death's Doorstep and all the other scenarios in the in the Circle Undone cycle here in the weeks to come, and my reviews for the player cards in For the Greater Good should be up here in the next couple weeks as well. Initially, I thought that pack was going to be a bit disappointing because I wasn't really looking forward to a lot of the cards, just the upgrades for the dual class cards, but they turn out to be actually quite. Some of them are quite good, actually. There's some interesting stuff in that pack. So I am going to what is it? What are we at? We're almost at 3 hours now, so that's a long bunch of games. Thanks again, everyone, for joining me tonight, and stay tuned. I will, if you would like to be added to my list for when I'm streaming, I send out an email. Let me know. Drop me a line at manfromleng@gmail.com, and I will add you to the list to let you know when I am streaming in the future, so that you can tune in. And if there is something that you would like me to play on the stream, by all means, drop me a line and let me know, because I'd be more than happy to give it a shot for you. So with that, I am going to bid you adieu, and stay tuned for more great Arkham Horror LCG content in the weeks to come. Thanks very much for joining me tonight, everyone.